Hello, family and friends and people who I don't know but are here watching. I'm glad that you're here. We have something in common, and that's Puerto Rico. So, whether it's for the love of Puerto Rico, simple curiosity, I welcome you and thank you for watching. This is a video journal for myself, a vlog for you, and a personal history diary for the children of my family. Our family has deep roots in Puerto Rico. We've had this farm in our family for over 200 years. So join me as I go back to the farm, La Finca du Cos, and we assess the damage after Hurricane Maria, and we figure out what we're going to do with the place. It's a beautiful farm, but I'm not going to lie, it's really scary for me because there are all types of creatures in there. As we enter the private road, it was once a private road, this hot mess that you see right here on the right hand side is what most of the farm, and there's acres of it, that's what it looks like. My favorite part of the farm is we're rolling up on it, and it's a morro, our own morro that's been in there. It's been standing for over 200 years. And I'll go into more about the history of my family and the history of this morro in future videos. Welcome back to the farm. Welcome to La Finca. In my vlog, I'm going to include a little history for the children in my family. It's always good to know your ancestry and any information about where you are or who you are and where you came from. Always makes a person feel complete. So La Finca is located on the west side of the island in the town of Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. La Finca was founded in the early 1800s by a man named Don Pedro Ducos, who is my 3 times great-grandfather, and he came to Puerto Rico from Irún, Spain, which is in the Basque Country. Irún is a border town between France and Spain, and the topography of where Irún is and where La Finca is, our farm, is astounding because it's basically in the same location. Don Pedro Ducos married a woman from Aguada, Puerto Rico, by the name of Sinforosa Sosa de las Cajigas de Torre. The woman sitting down in this chair is Josefa Ducos, and she is one of their children. That is her husband, Manuel Gomez, and they make up the branch of the family tree, the Gomez Ducos side, and they are all in Moca. Meanwhile, back in the farm, Pedro Ducos stays there, and he marries at the age of 78. This is his marriage certificate to Calixta Rosa, who is his conjugal wife, and she's a mulata child. She was the daughter of a slave that came along with Sinforosa Sosa from Aguada, and I'll go into that more in future videos. I am from this part of the family tree, from this branch. And this is my grandfather, Adolfo Ducos, standing there in his sugar fields with a cigar in his mouth, his hat, his Stetson hat, that was still in the house to this day, and his beer, and that shit-eating grin. What I appreciate most about my grandfather is that he left his family set up with land and a house to live in. He built that house in 1939, and this is the house that we are going to restore. This was a trip that I took on the summer of 2017 before Hurricane Maria with my family.
My sister.
That was my sister there. She's so beautiful. I'll explain these bars later. And this is the house that my grandfather built. And he built it for his family. Most people in our family have spent some time there. And we have to actually restore this. So before Maria, this house had some wood additions to it, and it was painted many colors, and it was just basically a house that we all just stayed at. And this is what Maria did to it. She brought it back to its original state, the way that my grandfather had it, and it was actually bizarre to see it this way. This wasn't the color that the house was when my grandfather built it, but the architecture is definitely the same. This house, like I said, has been in the family since 1939, and it's basically a house where everyone can come to. God forbid something happens and you're just shut out of luck or homeless. you have a home if you're part of our family. And that's what really struck me about the house, is that we are never without a home if you are one of my grandfather's children. And that's why I decided to buy a drone, check out the land, come here and do something. Okay, there. So if you're not dizzy by now, I am really sorry. This is my first drone and my fifth time probably when I made this video actually flying the drone. So bear with me with all of the turns. Like I said, I'm sorry, it's my first time flying this thing. But this area right here, there's the house in the center. If you can see something that looks like a pool on the roof of the house, if you see that water, that's a cistern. That's how they used to collect water in the old days. Like I said, this house is from 1939, and the area surrounding the house is what I want to clear. That's what we want to focus on first. And that's the first job that we're going to do, as well as clean up all the debris and garbage that Maria threw everywhere. At this point, I was really terrified of this drone falling out of the sky and losing it in this jungle. Thank God it didn't happen. This is the area that I want to focus cleaning and hopefully make it look like this land over here. This is Hacienda Margarita. It belongs to our neighbor, Don Luis, who has beautiful Pasofino horses. And hopefully one day our property, our land, our finca can look like that. And here we are just flying over towards the back of the finca. There's a charco. My family will know exactly where they are, especially the guys. Suko, Joey, Charlie, they all go back in here, and they all, as kids, yeah, I think even a couple of my cousins, the girl cousins, went back there. I would never in a million years set foot back there unless that shit is cleared. There's no way. So I just I'm terrified of creatures and animals, and our grandfather scared the shit out of us because he would tell us that the cuco lived back here. And if you're Puerto Rican, you know what the cuco is. So yeah, I wasn't going back there. So now I'm going to give you, I guess, just a bit of the history of the people, our ancestors that were the original owners of this land and the ones that made it possible for us to have this land today. The patriarch of our family is Don Pedro Ducos. He was a man from Iron, Spain. Iron, Spain is a border town, smack dab on the border of Spain and France. And this is Basque region. Many Puerto Ricans are from this region, the Basque region. Many towns in Puerto Rico have names from Basque country. We are, I believe, French Basque. on Pedro Ducos's side. Ducos is a French name. I have to go to Iran, Spain to get more in-depth history on the Ducos name, but from what I've researched, it is from the south of France. So he comes over to Puerto Rico and he marries Sinforosa Sosa de las Cajigas de Torre. Pedro Ducos is already a wealthy man when he comes to Puerto Rico. He marries this woman of society. She's from Aguada. Her father is Manuel Sosa Oliveria, and her mother is Jeronima or Jeromina Cajigas de Torre. They are true Spanish people. I can trace their history back to the 1600s to Andalusia, Spain, to Burgos, and different areas of Spain. She marries Pedro Ducos, and he brings her to this farm, and this farm is nothing compared to what it was back in their days. There are many, 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 many acres. Pedro Ducos and Sinforosa have a house here. That morro that you've seen is over 200 years old, and if it's any indication, that was just the entrance to whatever house was built back here. I can imagine how grand and how beautiful, and looking at the architecture in Navidon and of the houses, the morro is made with the same style of materials. They use the rocks that's on the land. Anyway, Sinforosa comes to the farm and she brings her slaves. So her father is Manuel Sosa Olveria. His father, Sinforosa's grandfather, is Francisco de la Rosa. He is a captain. He was also a mayor of Aguada in 1827. Aguada was the first town in the northwest corner of Puerto Rico, even before Aguadilla. Aguada was a port town, and it was a very important in the slave trading business and the sugar importing and exporting. So Pedro Ducos and Sinforosa Sosa de las Cajigas de Torre are living on the farm. She's brought Candelaria, and Candelaria is a slave. Candelaria has a child named Calixta. Pedro Ducos and Sinforosa also have 3 children. They actually had 5 children, 3 that lived. Pedro Ducos, who is my ancestor, Josefa Ducos, who is part of the branch of Moca, and Carlota Ducos. So Calixta, who is the little mulata child, is raised alongside Pedro Ducos Sosa, the son of Pedro and Sinforosa. And you guessed it, they stay together, they have kids, and he doesn't marry her until he's about 75 years old to legitimize all the children that they've had, which are my ancestors. Calixta was my great-great-grandmother. This land just represents, I guess, a memory for me. And a memory is very important in our family because memories get taken away from us. And in future videos, I will explain what I am talking about.